Am I the asshole for suing my sister over a poster my sister's son destroyed? My sister brought her kids over 2 weeks ago. In my office I have a vintage Marvel poster signed by Stan Lee and the artists of the poster. The poster is over 30 years old. Her son saw this and thought it was really neat and wanted me to give it to him. I tried being diplomatic but let him know that wouldn't happen. For certain reasons, my office door locks behind me and you need keys to open it. This is important. Fast forward the next day. We're going to the park and I can't find my keys. We're looking around the house and I hear her daughter yell out, "Oh no." And my sister and I go running. Her son has opened my office and climbed on the desk to get the poster down. In doing it he managed to tear it in half. I'm furious. This poster is not only irreplaceable, I got it signed with my now deceased grandfather. It has a lot of sentimental value for me. My sister completely blew this off. Hell, she even started giggling when her daughter said, "Oh no," the second time because she thought it sounded cute. She didn't offer me anything, even an apology. Her argument is that I should have had my keys on me because I should have somehow expected that her son would try to take it down from the wall. Dad and wife are firmly in my camp. Dad recognized how important this was to me because it was only a few days before he suddenly passed away and was the last thing we did together. My mom and sister are acting like it's no big deal. Sister ghosted me when I texted her asking about compensating me for the poster. In case anyone is wondering, when we moved into my house, we had the poster appraised at $3,000 due to the condition and rarity of this particular poster. I was informed after Stan Lee's death. It went up but we didn't have it reappraised. This particular one does go on eBay and unsigned fetch north of $2,000. When I served her, my mom called me up telling me it was no big deal and she said she found another poster on eBay, and when I saw the link I realized it was completely different, and wasn't signed, or anything like that. It wasn't even the same year. Now sister is complaining to mom that I'm being mean for going after her and not taking her offer and instead making her pay for it. She thinks I should just let this go because kids will be kids, so Aita here. Edit. Since this has been raised in a few comments, yes, the poster was framed. It was professionally mounted in a frame. It was not tacked to a wall or anything like that.
Not the asshole. She is 100% responsible for her son's behavior. I don't care if it was even on the floor of your office. Her kid was old enough to be sneaky and go around all of the normal security you had in place.
Not the asshole. I'd sue for compensation too, then again that might cost you more in legal fees than the poster is worth. So I don't know if that's worth it, but at the least she owes you an apology.
Not the asshole. Get it reappraised for its current value, untorn, sue her socks off. Her son damaged it, she must pay for it. Pretty sure Shush is responsible for your legal fees as well when you win.
Not the asshole. Your sister's son knew that the poster was not going to be his. What her child did was destruction of property, and you have every right to serve your sister. She didn't even care. She claimed that you should have known he would do it. Giggling at daughter saying, "Oh no," when something sentimental of yours got destroyed is ruined. Ask her and your mom how they would feel if something expensive and sentimental of theirs were destroyed. Tell them to put themselves in your shoes. That poster meant a lot to you since they don't seem to care. How on earth were you supposed to know that he'd do that? Maybe she should be.
Wow, not the asshole. Kids only act like that when they haven't been raised right. The child was told no, that should have been the end of it. You had made sure that the poster wasn't easily accessible to him and he decided to take you keys and help himself to your property. The kids will be kids excuse is just your sister taking blame for her own shit parenting. Unfortunately, because of the sentimental value, your poster can't be fully replaced, but you can teach your sister that actions have consequences.
Not the asshole. Threaten to take her to small claims court if you have to. There's no reason she shouldn't be responsible for getting you the closest version possible, even if you've lost the sentimental attachment to the first one. I'm so sorry this happened.
Not the asshole. Oh my god, the fact she hasn't even apologized or disciplined her son over this is awful. Just the emotional aspect of it as well with your grandfather. Honestly, if you're going to be around kids, you need to expect something to get broken at some point. They'll do that. But this is significant other different. You kept this poster in a locked room. Her son stole your keys. He broke into your office without anyone knowing to steal your poster. Man, your sister lost all rights not to get sued if she'd rectified this as soon as possible and treated it as seriously as it deserves.
Info. Have you talked to your insurance or to a restorer?
Sounds pretty fake. It was professionally framed, but a kid was easily able to get it out of a frame while standing on a desk and somehow tear it in half? Also, I feel like something insanely similar to this has been posted before.
Info. A 7-year-old got the keys, unlocked your office, took down a framed poster, somehow then ripped it in half, and your sister laughed it off. Is that a fair summation of what happened? I am very skeptical about this.
How did a 7-year-old steal keys, sneak into an office, take down a professionally mounted frame, take it out of that frame, and rip it in half?
Not the asshole. Not even a little bit. A kid that is old enough to sneakily steal keys to a locked room to go in and steal a poster is old enough to know better than to do all of that. Your sister isn't doing him any favors here.
Info. How did he get the poster out of the professional frame to rip it in half? I've unframed a few things that were professionally done and it isn't easy.
I don't understand how this child of uncertain age stole keys, got into a locked office, and then tore a poster in half that happened to be mounted and framed on the wall. The kid took it out of the frame and ripped it off the mounting board.
How did he tear it when it was framed and behind glass?
Not the asshole. She could searched for another poster on eBay, for her kid, before this happened.
Not the asshole. Kids will be kids. Sorry, no, kids will be the remorseless, destructive little shits you let them be. I don't know how old this kid is, maybe he's genuinely naive and has been allowed to run riot, or maybe he should really know better. Regardless, your sister is hugely disrespectful of your belongings, home and emotions, and her kids are too. You have every right to be pissed.
How do you tear a framed poster?
So a 7-year-old took the professionally set up frame down, opened it and teared the picture. Please. I call this BS.
Info. How old is your nephew? You're not the asshole regardless, but I am curious if this was a 5-year-old or a 12-year-old pulling this crap.
Not the asshole. That's terrible and her response is ridiculous. Not the asshole. Your sister had an opportunity to teach nephew and niece about respecting other people's property, taking no for an answer, and taking responsibility when you damage someone else's things. Instead, she taught them that actions don't have consequences and it's okay to take what you want and destroy it in the process. Your mom needs to get off her high horse and realize that if the child had done that to a non-family member, the same consequence could have been had. Sue her. And I'm so sorry your prized memento of your grandfather was ruined.
You are the asshole. This story is a repost and fake.
Not the asshole. Your sister should have reimbursed you for the full value of the poster. You told the kid no and he disrespected that, took your keys, went into your locked office and ripped it. Somehow that's your fault. Ridiculous.
A 7-year-old steals your keys, tears your poster down, and your sis laughs at this. Not the asshole. Forget about the value and all that. I would sue just on general principles on your sis being as bratty as your nephew. Maybe this will teach both of them that stealing, destroying other people's property has consequences. And your mom supports your sis. Nice family you got there. Op.
I know it won't be the same, but depending on the rip, angled or not, someone may be able to help fix part of it. Info. I worked at a paper repair shop. Info. How did a 7-year-old get a professionally mounted, framed poster off the wall and take it out of the frame to rip it in half?
Not the asshole. It's very telling that her child would even act this way in the first place. If he's old enough to steal keys and unlock a door, he should be old enough to know not to steal a poster from his uncle. And for your sister not to take any accountability for this is just ridiculous. She should compensate you, and if she won't, then lawyer up. $2,000 plus is worth it.
NTA. As someone who is very into limited edition poster collecting, reading this made me physically feel for you. A poster like one you're describing could def be well into $3K plus. Now there are people who fix rare posters. It ain't cheap, but there is some stuff you could do to try and save the original. Also, I realize hindsight is 20/20, but when you have a poster that nice Frame it in acid-free environment and put some museum glass on that sucker.
Good thing you added in the dead grandfather storyline as well, might not have gotten all the karma you were looking for with just the little kid destroyed my property arc.
Not the asshole. Absolutely. Your sister needs to be responsible for her children's actions.
Not the asshole. Her son broke into your office that you locked. Sue her. Even if we don't think about the money or the sentimental value, she needs to realize that her bad parenting has consequences. Besides, how old is he? If he is doing stuff like this now and his mom only laughs about it, then I don't even want to imagine what he'll do when he is older. Kids will be kids is just an excuse for being a lazy parent.
Got a picture of the damage? Trying to wrap my brain around how a framed poster gets ripped.
Not the asshole. She still owes you money and a huge apology, and her boy definitely owes you an apology. Call your homeowner's insurance and see what they suggest. They might sue her homeowner's insurance for you. It might be less of a headache for you to let your homeowner's insurance deal with it.
Not the asshole. She needs to teach that kid that you can't just take things that don't belong to you and that there are consequences for destroying someone's property. Info. How was the poster framed? I ask because, if it was behind glass, how did it tear in half without having broken glass everywhere? I would imagine something that valuable, professionally framed, would be behind museum glass to protect it from UV light, and that kind of framing would easily cost $500 plus for that size.
Not the asshole, but suing doesn't fix the problem, which is your awful sister and her out-of-control kid. I don't think the money is going to get you what you want out of it, which really sounds like contrition. Unfortunately, the court can't order that.
Not the asshole. She should be watching her children.
If the poster was professionally framed, it would have glass on the front and a backing behind the poster. It would not be easy to tear the poster in half. It could have also been repaired if it had been torn in half. I do not buy the story.
Not the asshole. My son threw a toy at my dad's TV and broke it. It was an ancient junk TV that you probably couldn't sell for $50. I gave him $150 towards a new one, because I found the same size new model for that price. You are responsible for your kid. You replace shit they break. It's the adult thing to do.
Info. I'm gonna call this post fake. Unless you can explain to me how your nephew was able to climb the desk and reach for and destroy a professionally framed and hung poster, and managed to tear it in half in the process, in the time it took you to run to your office. And if your office auto locks, and he had the keys, how did you even get into the office? It should have been locked with nephew inside.
We had a very similar post 2 years ago. Stan Lee poster and everything.
Not the asshole, but legally if it's a young kid they may not hold the parent liable for damages. Consult a lawyer or even legal advice.
I hate this blame shift attitude of you should have expected this and been more careful, so it's your fault. No, 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 if you can't teach your feral monster to respect others, then you take responsibility. Not the asshole. Her son destroyed a treasured item in both money and emotional value. She laughed and blamed you. Your sister has earned every bit of grief and lawsuit involved here. Yes, some people will try to keep the peace but letting sister get away with bad behavior, but that's just garbage. This is 100% on sister, and she said expect to pay for it. Oh hell no. That brat would be lucky to be alive if he'd pulled that kind of shit with my stuff. Absolutely not the asshole.
Okay, but how do you tear a mounted and framed poster in half? That doesn't make any sense.
Info. How did the kid get the poster out of the frame?
Not the asshole, because your sister wasn't taking it seriously and never even apologized. I'd say NAH if she tried to repay you or at least was sincere with her apology.